All right, let's dive into today's news. We've got a lot to cover: economic worries, must-making moves, and a ton of earnings reports to break down.
Sounds like a busy day in the financial world.
Yeah, it is. People are starting to worry about inflation again. The University of Michigan's consumer sentiment gauge, it just hit its lowest point since July.
Oh, wow, that's significant. What's causing that?
It looks like people are predicting a 4.3% inflation rate next year, the highest prediction since November 2023.
Hmm. Yeah, that kind of jump can really make people nervous, especially with consumer sentiment dropping too. It makes everyone uncertain and hesitant to spend or invest.
Right, and it's not just consumers. Goldman Sachs is predicting a market correction. They're saying tariffs are a big reason for all the volatility.
Tariffs always seem to make things more complicated. That unpredictability makes it hard for businesses to plan and investors to feel confident.
And then you got the White House saying the job market is weak and blaming Biden's policies.
Interesting. But didn't the January jobs report show growth in healthcare and retail?
It did. So it's kind of a mixed bag on the economic front. A lot of moving parts and a lot of uncertainty.
Definitely. It just shows how important it is to stay informed and adapt in times like these. Keeping an eye on these trends can help make better financial decisions.
For sure. Now let's move on to a topic that always seems to grab the headlines. Elon Musk. He's been
Oh,
busy as always.
always up to something. What's he been doing now?
Well, it turns out he's been building a massive stake in Uber, over $2 billion worth.
Wow, that's a huge move.
Uh,
What's his plan there? It'll be interesting to see how he uses that influence.
Yeah, then there's the whole DOGE controversy.
Oh, right, DOGE. The team he put together to reduce the government workforce.
Exactly. So one of the DOGE staffers resigned after posting some pretty offensive racist tweets. Now Senator Vance is calling for Musk to rehire him.
That puts Musk in a tough position. On one hand, he's got a senator putting pressure on him, but on the other hand, rehiring someone who made those kinds of comments could make it seem like he agrees with them.
Yeah, it's a tricky situation. And that's not the only problem with DOGE. Lawmakers are also worried that DOGE might have access to sensitive student loan data from the Education Department.
That's a serious concern about data privacy and whether that information could be misused. It really highlights the need for more transparency and oversight when it comes to government data and private companies.
At least the Energy Secretary says they don't have access to nuclear secrets.
Well, that's something, I guess. But this whole DOGE situation really shows how complicated Musk's ventures are and how they could have all kinds of consequences.
Speaking of consequences, let's shift to earnings reports. Expedia just made a big announcement. They're bringing back dividends for the first time since the pandemic started.
That's a good sign for the travel industry. It sounds like Expedia is confident about its recovery and growth. This might mean other travel companies are getting back on their feet financially too.
Yep. For the first time since the pandemic, Expedia will pay out a quarterly dividend of 40 cents a share. Investors are happy about that.
It shows they're expecting strong demand for travel in the future.
On the other hand, Amazon is feeling the effects of a strong dollar. It's hurting their international revenue.
That's a common problem for companies that operate globally. Those currency changes can really impact their profits.
But Amazon is still making big investments. They just revealed a $100 billion capital expenditure plan for 2025. Most of that will go towards AI.
That's a bold move, but not surprising considering how important AI is becoming in every industry. It shows that Amazon is serious about staying ahead in technology.
They're not alone. SoftBank is planning to invest $40 billion in OpenAI. They're valuing the company at a massive $260 billion.
Wow, that's huge. It just goes to show how much excitement there is around AI and its potential to change everything. We're seeing huge investments from big tech companies and venture capitalists alike.
It's definitely a hot area. And speaking of success stories, Pinterest and Affirm are both celebrating strong revenue reports. It looks like their platforms are doing well with consumers.
Pinterest's user growth and Affirm's profitability, especially during the holidays, show how they're adapting to consumer trends and using technology to meet new demands.
But not every company is doing so well. Tesla's facing a sales slump in China as the competition in the electric vehicle market heats up.
It's a reminder that even the biggest companies aren't safe from competition. The electric vehicle market is changing rapidly, and companies need to keep innovating to stay ahead. It's a tough market out there for some companies.
It is. So let's switch gears and talk about something that's been in the news a lot. Taxes. Taxes.
That's a part.
Always a hot topic. What's happening?
Well, Trump is back with a new tax plan. It could really shake things up, especially for Wall Street and Silicon Valley.
Really?
Mhm.
What's he proposing this time?
He wants to get rid of the carried interest loophole.
Oh, that's been a controversial one for years. It lets private equity and hedge fund managers pay less in taxes on their profits.
Yeah, basically it's a tax break for the super rich. Getting rid of it could bring in billions more in taxes.
It could, but it would also face a lot of pushback from the people who benefit from it. It'll be interesting to see how Congress handles this. It's a classic fight between different economic interests. And speaking of economic interests, we can't forget about Social Security and Medicare.
Those are such important programs, especially for retirees and people who rely on Medicare for their health care.
Right, and with all this talk about taxes and budgets, there's growing concern about what might happen to those programs.
Yeah, it's understandable. People worry that Social Security and Medicare will get caught in the middle of budget fights.
It's a reminder that these political decisions have real consequences for people's lives. We need to stay informed about these things.
Absolutely. It's not just about knowing what's in the news. It's about understanding how those decisions could affect you and your financial security.
Okay, now for something a bit lighter. Who would have thought that Taylor Swift and the NFL would make such a powerful team?
It's an unusual pairing for sure, but it looks like it's working for both of them.
Since Swift started dating Travis Kelce, a star player for the Kansas City Chiefs, the NFL has seen a huge jump in revenue, almost $1 billion.
That's the Taylor Swift effect. Her fans are tuning in and buying merchandise. It's definitely helping the NFL.
It's a great example of how celebrity and sports can work together and everyone wins.
It shows that the NFL is smart about recognizing trends and taking advantage of them. They're trying to get younger fans by working with creators on platforms like YouTube and Snapchat.
They're adapting to the new media world to stay relevant and attract new fans.
It's a good strategy. Ignoring new trends can hurt any industry.
Now back to business. It's not every day that a cement company makes headlines with its IPO, but Titan America just did.
They raised a lot of capital. It shows that the construction industry is still doing well, especially in places like Florida and the Mid-Atlantic.
It seems like construction is still booming. And speaking of booming markets, a Ferrari-themed mansion in Florida just sold for a record $50 million.
That shows the power of luxury and branding, even in a niche market like that.
It's a reminder that while some sectors are struggling, others are seeing amazing growth and success.
It's all about spotting those trends and understanding what's driving them.
Now, for a more serious topic, the January jobs report showed a worrying trend. Unemployment among Black men went up.
That's troubling. While the overall unemployment rate was pretty stable, the rate for Black men jumped to 6.9%.
That's a big increase. It shows the economic inequality that still exists in our society.
It highlights the fact that economic progress doesn't always reach everyone equally, and that certain groups face bigger obstacles to opportunity.
This is something that needs more attention from policymakers. We have to address the root causes of this inequality and make things fairer for everyone.
I agree. Economic justice is crucial for a healthy society.
Okay, let's talk about something more positive: dividends.
Dividends are always good news for investors.
It looks like dividend-paying companies are making a comeback. After being uncertain during the pandemic, more and more companies are announcing dividends and buybacks.
That's great for investors who want investments that generate income. With interest rates still low, dividends are a good way to get cash flow.
Expedia's recent dividend announcement is a good example of this trend. And Legal & General, a financial services company, saw its stock price jump 8% after announcing a big dividend payout.
Investors are definitely reacting positively to this. It shows they're feeling more confident about the market and want stable returns.
Of course, like with any investment, it's important to do your research and understand the company's finances and future outlook before investing.
And don't forget to diversify your investments. Don't put all your money in one place. Spread it across different industries and types of assets to manage your risk.
Good advice. So let's get back to tech, where the race for AI dominance is heating up.
It's an exciting race to watch. Amazon and SoftBank are putting billions into AI, and companies like Google and Microsoft are making their own big moves.
Google's recent earnings call showed that they're having some problems with their cloud infrastructure, which is slowing down their AI plans.
That's a big problem. Cloud computing is essential for AI development, so Google needs to fix those problems quickly to keep up with the competition.
Meanwhile, Qualcomm, a major chip maker, is seeing higher profits because of strong demand for their chips.
The semiconductor industry seems to be doing well despite worries about a global economic slowdown.
And Doximity, a platform for doctors, is doing great after exceeding revenue expectations.
Their success shows how important telehealth and digital tools are becoming in healthcare.
But not every tech company is doing well. Meta has had an amazing 15-day winning streak, but some analysts are wondering if it can last.
It's always good to be cautious when a stock price goes up so fast. You have to look at the company's fundamentals and see if the price is justified.
And then there's Digital Turbine, a mobile growth platform. Their stock has gone up almost 40%.
That's a big jump.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if they can keep that momentum going.
In the world of finance, Upstart, a fintech company, is attracting attention from chart analysts who think its stock price is about to take off.
But like any fast-growing company, there's always risk. Investors need to balance the potential rewards with the potential downsides.
Speaking of risk tax season is here, and it's not just IRS audits we need to worry about.
That's right. Scammers are everywhere using fake emails and text messages to try and steal your information.
So be careful, everyone. Don't click on any suspicious links or give out your personal information unless you're absolutely sure it's legitimate.
The IRS will never contact you by email or text message to ask for your personal information. If you get a message like that, report it immediately.
Okay, let's finish up with a few more news items. The cryptocurrency world is excited about the race for the next big crypto ETF.
These new ETFs give investors a way to invest in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. But it's important to understand the risks before investing.
And in Europe, Elon Musk is facing another legal problem. French prosecutors have started a criminal investigation into his company, X, formerly known as Twitter. They're looking into concerns about algorithm manipulation.
This investigation shows how much scrutiny social media platforms are under and how much power they have to shape public opinion. Regulators are worried that these algorithms could be used for harmful purposes.
Seems like Musk is always finding himself in some kind of trouble.
He definitely knows how to get people talking.
Well, that's a good point. To wrap up our deep dive into today's news, it's been a wild ride with economic ups and downs, market shifts, and of course, plenty of Elon Musk drama.
We covered a lot today, from worries about inflation and market corrections to the race for AI dominance and the latest in tech.
And we talked about some important social and political issues too, like the rise in unemployment among Black men and the debates about the future of Social Security and Medicare.
It's so important to stay informed about these things and think about how they could affect your own life and finances.
Absolutely. Knowledge is key. The more you know about what's going on in the world, the better prepared you'll be to handle challenges and take advantage of opportunities.
And don't forget to stay curious. The world is always changing, and there's always something new to discover.
So until next time, keep digging, keep exploring, and keep asking questions.